This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I am Jim. I'm Jar.
You're
I'm
who?
Jim. I'm Jim. I was about to say, with my good friend Dar, you'll have to listen to Behind the Scenes Plus Club members to see what that's all about. Hey, how you doing,
Yes, you
Dar?
have to hear that story. It's a good one. I'm fine. Also, everybody give us your thoughts on the word man friend. That's all I'm going to say. Listen to Behind the Scenes.
Man friend. I had to move your box. You were getting out of frame there.
I'm always out of frame. I'm always out of whack.
Yes.
Whackety whack.
Well, don't talk back.
There you go.
So, let's see. What's new today is
You're having a big birthday this weekend.
Yes.
Jim's having a big birthday.
I won't tell you how old I am, but it has something to do with ketchup. That's it.
Heinz ketchup.
Yeah. Boy, you think he gave it away. There's people that won't know that, though. But
No, there's
look it
people
up.
won't know.
Look it up.
Yep. Figure it out.
So, anywho, more news on
we had
the
a
UFO
lot
front.
of news this week. We had to kind of cull a number
Cut
of
some
stories
stuff, yeah.
because
You don't want to make the show too long. I mean, I think it gets a little repetitive
I talk too
if you
much,
make it.
so.
No, it's not that. It's just even too much of a good thing. You got to limit it. So we cut some stories this week.
Go.
This first one is about those latest batch, the third batch of UAP files that came out. And apparently, they revealed that also China and Russia may have retrieved objects from newsnationnow.com because they seem to be the only ones who cover this. Jordan Flowers, executive director of the Disclosure Foundation, can I not talk today, highlighted in a discussion with one of the reporters over there some various key takeaways. And one of them is we also have a reason to believe that the Chinese and the Russians may have retrieved their own objects related to this and may have tried to reverse engineer them. It has extreme national security implications that we really need to get our hands around. Now, from that quote, now it's saying that now I'd be curious to actually listen to this because the headline is New UAP Files Reveal China and Russia May Have Retrieved Objects. But actually, that's not what he's saying. He's saying we have reason to believe that the Chinese and the Russians may have retrieved their own objects related to this and may have tried to reverse engineer them. Now, I don't know if he is well, I guess here it says for Flowers, the key takeaway from this third release is not that UFOs aren't just a U.S. phenomenon, so a global one. So I guess he is saying it was a little unclear the way it was phrased. But I mean, it would make sense, right? We're in a adversarial position with Russia and China. If they would get one of these craft, if they're our craft, and if we're trying to reverse engineering, it would only make sense that they would too. Also, Flowers said that these files make it very clear, the release of files, this is a high priority topic for this administration. It's important to know they've released items that indicate not only has the Air Force been taking this issue extremely seriously since 1948 at least, despite their claims, but also today the Director of National Intelligence Office and the FBI have multiple investigations going on about this topic. So, and there's more in this article. I'd recommend it. They quote heavily Joshua Golembeski, who has been on our show, the Paranormal Podcast. And he talks about one thing that was found in the files, or Grush mentioned, during his recent press conference was he referred to plasmoid sentient beings, Joshua said. In these files, we have videos and documents explicitly saying and describing these orb-like intelligences. So check out that article. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff in those files. But again, I keep coming back to the fact, other than those of us who are interested, nobody cares.
Nobody cares because
and they knew it when they released it.
Because you have to take time to go through those and read and press you have to download the video. You can't even do a preview or watch anything. Right. You have to download everything.
People are used to YouTube. They want to click and watch. That's it. They're not going to
that's what I thought I would be able to do.
And the thing is that if they really wanted to get this out, they would pick maybe like 10 of the most revealing, even 5 of the most revealing files and say, we're going to do a press conference. We're going to show you the contents of these 5 files, the ones that we thought were most impactful and most curious, and talk about them a little bit. But no, it's just like...
They didn't promise that. They didn't promise that. They said we would release the files. That's all. And they did. They have featured ones now. And we talked about this before. So there's some featured ones at the beginning, but why would they help anybody try to decipher any of this? They don't really want it out there. They don't want people to start speculating and then start panicking about, oh my gosh, what's coming? Oh my God. Because some people would. And, so they don't care. Your story was kind of interesting because I was thinking of, it reminds me of the like space race way back when, like who could get to the moon first, US, Russia. Now it's who can reverse engineer aliens and spacecraft and whatnot.
Well, yeah, I mean, both of these countries, China and Russia, and many countries for that matter, want to create weapons of war. And if they have a head start, and again, it goes back to why I said, and it's not an original thought because, for example, the late Philip Corso, I believe, had this same thought, and many other people do. I believe post-World War II, there was some kind of X factor in our technological development. Because if you look from, 1800 to 1945, you had radio, you had a few things crop up here and there. But look at the technological development from 1945 on. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The integrated circuit, the transistor, the computer chip. It just, even from we live in an entirely different world than when we were kids. And we're not that young, but we're not that old. I mean, it is a totally different world, And that advancement, that quick advancement, something helped that along. I think they found pieces of parts from spaceships and they reverse engineered them. Go ahead.
Well, think about the release. So in the first release, the first files that were presented were from when, Jim? 1944. So those were the documents that were released. So boy, doesn't that line up with what you were just saying about how everything exploded after World War II, right?
Yep.
So I find that very interesting. Too much of a coincidence to be a
coincidence.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Are there, I didn't see any in the first release. None that was like, maybe I missed it. I could have, but I didn't really see anything date-wise that was documented before that, at least what they've released. So, so I find that interesting. So there you go.
I think it's very interesting indeed.
So, we have another News Nation story, but we're switching gears just a little bit. It's related to those missing scientists, the missing general.
A new theory.
This is interesting. It's a theory from a former FBI agent. Ben Hansen was doing an interview with News Nation's Brian Enton about the case. And he has some unconventional explanations and connections that he thinks. He said the evidence, this is a quote, the evidence, it looks like at least what they're willing to share with us is very weird, especially about Cassia's death. So this is what's interesting too. I'm going to encourage everyone to go to virtualcampfiregroup.com. It is free. It's way better than Jim's Facebook group. Get off there, get into our little group. It's way better. But in our group, one of our members, Elizabeth, brought up this point about Melissa Cassius. She was a former staffer at Los Alamos National Library. They found her remains, right? They finally found them after not even a year. And they found them in the woods and they were described as skeletal. And the manner and cause of her death haven't been determined. And the family is really wondering, and a lot of people are really wondering if the scene was staged because of the way she was like up against a tree. Her phone was wiped and reset, and left behind. It just weird stuff. So Ben was saying, quote, the official kind of statements that they say her body was skeletonized. It's been not quite a year. And he was questioning why her cell phones had been reset to factory settings. He said, that's not normal. Nobody does that. Quote, nobody does that unless you're trying to hide something or hide being found or tracked. Right. So people are saying, thank you, that they've had connections to UFO research. Now, he feels like General William McCaslin's case, he doesn't think it was tied to direct UFO involvement. He doesn't think that. But he said, and this is what I've been saying, and I know a lot of our members have been saying, I know Elizabeth, Marcia, Hansen noted that the language McCaslin's wife used when reporting him missing was of note because she may have reason to believe her husband had been sent on a secret assignment for the government and was not able to contact his family. He says, it might be indicative of somebody who knew. I was warned he was going to leave, and I have a script, and I have to do what's expected of me, which is to call the police to report him missing. But in the back of my mind, I know he's okay. He's just off on assignment. So he raised the theory that the cases could be the work of some sort of weapon, similar to the idea of a directed energy weapon that's been blamed for the Havana syndrome. And I think we talked about this. There was a story about this like months and months ago. He said there's the other theory that like foreign adversaries are targeting U.S. military and contractors and employees for some sort of weapon, right? That could be used to put people into a depression or induce paranoia. And his link to this is because he said a lot of these people, their behavior and things were out of character for them, especially McCaslin. We talked about that last week. People that met with him the night before said his behavior was kind of odd and off for him. He said it could be that certain frequencies kind of, infrasound, they're below the normal thresholds. They can cause paranoia.
Like somebody was trying to mind control him, basically? Yeah. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, he's speculating that there's some kind of weapon and it kind of, they said, adversaries could have influenced people through threats or promises, speculating that those missing could have been told they were going to meet with someone and had been under the impression they would return home.
Very interesting.
I just find it very interesting. He's former FBI. He knows things, maybe not current things, but he knows how things were run. So it's kind of interesting to hear his take. So watch that. I'll have the link, but there's a video and an article that go with it. So there you go.
Yeah, indeed. It is curiouser and curiouser. This is an interesting one. We talk about near-death experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So there is another theory as to why people feel like they're separated from their body. Oh, do I have the wrong story?
You do. It's about Avi Loeb.
Oh,
you even have it highlighted on the.
Yes, I do, don't I? I'll tell you what. Well, let's mix things up a bit. Let's
go
ahead. Let's do the
go ahead.
Story I was about to talk about because I think it's more interesting anyway. And we'll get to the Avi Loeb story because I have thoughts about that.
I do too.
And the thoughts are not what you think they may be.
Same.
So. Anyway, I know what my thought is about that. I was just thinking about what it is because it's one sentence.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Can the embodied self explain near-death experiences? So some scientists, Antonio Damasio and Anil Seth, have proposed that afferent signals from bodily organs and tissues, such as the heart, veins, and lungs, are represented in the brain as a feeling of self. This is in psychologytoday.com. And the function of these signals is mainly to help the brain control and keep the inner bodily environment that's called homeostasis. However, the brain, in addition to responding to them but to maintain stable homeostasis, represents a sense of self as a byproduct of these signals. So in other words, they're trying to, in my view, explain away the idea of, people seeing themselves in all these different things during NDEs as just some kind of biological trick that our bodies use to keep everything in line. Even in this article,
so they're saying like afferent signals are
the organs and the tissues of your body communicate with your brain to create this sense of self. That it's all biological. There's nothing spiritual or anything about it. It's all just biology.
So it's because, well, that makes sense because afferent means it's going up to the brain. Efferent or afferent means it's going down. So, okay, I got it. So, I don't believe
because
that,
they talk about things like depersonalization disorder, derealization disorder. I got to say, when I was a kid, I used to have this. Like, I felt like I wasn't like seeing myself, but I felt like, oh, I'm real and I'm here, but I felt separate from myself. It was a weird thing. I don't think I ever told you about it. I used to have it. I had it multiple times. I remember one time sitting in a classroom and it's like, oh my gosh, all this is real and I'm sitting here. Yeah, it was a really weird thing. I've never mentioned to you because I forgot about it.
I don't think you've mentioned that.
I forgot it until I read this article, and I had it multiple times. And they say there can be neurological reasons for this and things. I do believe that.
Yeah, I believe that.
But in terms of NDEs, common features of NDEs include a sense of peace, passage through a tunnel, encounters with bright light, in some cases now of body perspective. Another less frequency emphasized but potentially important aspect of NDEs is the alteration of the ordinary sense of self. Individuals often report feeling detached from the physical bodies as if the usual boundaries between self and body have dissolved. So that's what they're explaining here. My point is, and I come back to the same question, and we had an interview with a skeptic on the Paranormal podcast, and NDEs came up, and I asked her this question, and she couldn't answer it because nobody can answer it. How do we have documented cases time after time after time, again and again, where somebody flatlines? They have a near-death experience. They claim to have one. And they can explain in great detail what happens with the medical staff working on their body while they're flatlining. And they can talk about what they hear, the motions that people make, the instruments that they're using, stuff they would have no way of knowing. And it's not just one case. It's case after case after case after case in serious studies. Explain that to me. No one has ever explained that to me. And they kind of mush-mouth it around. And this woman, who was very good, she was a great guest. I believe her name was Melissa Maffeo, I believe. Very good, very good. She's
Dr.
written a book about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very good, very smart, very intelligent.
Coming up in...
And
very,
I don't know, in the next few weeks.
Sue.
But she was very respectful, and she even said, I want to believe, about the paranormal in general. So it was a very friendly conversation. And most things she would have an answer for. But that one, I'm like, and then she gave some explanation. I said, Doctor, with all due respect, I'm not buying it. Because she said, you look skeptical. And it's like, well, it's because I am. But the point is that, again, biology could explain some of the near-death experience, I think.
It sure
the
can.
tunnel of light, she even pointed this one out. The tunnel of light is similar to what G-forces can cause and so forth. I get that some of it could be biological, but not all of it. So there you go.
There
you go. So now on to you. This one here about a child genius. A child genius.
Disturbing. From the Daily Mail, a former gifted child is claiming that he was removed from public school and secretly trained to develop his psychic abilities for military and UFO-related applications. So Jordan Jozak, he said he spent years being pulled out of class by psychologists before they transferred him to a specialized facility in Western New York. And he said he underwent experiments involving remote viewing, altered states of consciousness, and attempts to control technology using his mind. So he was in one of those gifted programs. I didn't know it was called GATE. So maybe you guys know it, Gifted and Talented Education Program, because he tested very exceptionally high in certain categories. So he was in that classroom, and then they decided just to pull. And that was a legitimate program. That doesn't mean if you were part of that, that doesn't mean you were like pulled aside for anything. GATE was just you were gifted and you had a special curriculum because you were so advanced. I guess it started in the 1960s, but many former students have claimed that they were part of a CIA initiative to test their supernatural abilities. He doesn't name, now this Jozak does not name CIA being involved, and there's no evidence linking the CIA to the schools, but he just said he started having flashbacks just a few years ago about like things that had happened to him as a child. And he was like, wait a minute, it kind of hit him that he was doing like all these experiments and stuff. And we did talk about this on a previous episode, like the one woman from Russia, remember she had workbooks that they were using and cracking codes. And so there are there is documentation that like this has happened to others, but yeah, I guess he was like 9 when, and I thought this was very interesting because it ties, in my opinion, to Disclosure Day, the movie from Spielberg. He said, when psychologists became interested in his ability to visualize information and solve certain academic tasks in unusual ways.
Oh my.
One of the things he was able to do is he could picture a word in his mind and break apart the letters piece by piece. And he was spelling it like a college level when he was 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they were pulling him first, and then they just transferred him like when he was 12 to a different school where he'd go to regular school for like 2 to 3 times a week. And then 2 or 3 times a week, he was going and doing these really weird stuff. I like what he said about this. This was kind of scary. He said, I was refusing to go to school at one point, and people from the school district were actually showing up and removing me from the house like it was Stranger Things level stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And he names an organization. He said they have good purposes. That wasn't the problem. The organization wasn't the problem. It was like the location and element that they put him in was a problem. Yeah, he was doing these remote viewing. So they would put him, they were trying to teach him to see he was in his body, get out of his body and see the other room and kind of shift his awareness. And they were having him listen to audio things to alter his brain. And he was doing all kinds of tests. He said he was in a psionic development pipeline for legacy program development. So trying to get telepathy, clairvoyance, psychokinesis, they had some type of sedative. They said they would put him in a deep meditation. He'd have some type of sedative and shift his consciousness into some set object or vehicle and become it. Pilot it up and down, move it left and right, claiming the UFOs were not flown with joysticks, but with his mind.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he goes on to describe some other scary things, in my opinion. But he gave names, he gave locations and other details to the intelligence community, but no evidence has emerged to substantiate any of this.
Well, you would hope that this kind of thing isn't going on with kids, but I will tell you, you know what it reminds me of? A campfire story. Do you remember the one campfire story in the last book?
Ohio. Wasn't he from Ohio?
Yeah, it was right by the West Virginia border. And basically what he described was it was a very odd day at his school. Mm-hmm. And these strange people came in and they were running the kids all through these different tests and things, physical tests, medical tests. And I think he said they even injected him at some point, and then he still has the scar. But then, and he was doing very well in the test, both mentally and physically. The next day, the next day he comes back and everything was very weird. And everybody acted like nothing ever happened. And he raises his hand. He asks the teacher, well, what happened with all those tests that we were going to have, we had yesterday? How did we do? How did we score? And the teacher and everybody else is like, what are you talking about? We don't know about any tests. But he still has that scar to this day.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought about when you said that.
Yep.
Because, boy, does that sound like it's similar.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, were they testing these kids to find, like, the next child genius?
And, the tie-in to Disclosure Day with some of the abilities. We're not going to get spoilers, but yeah, it's a little interesting.
Makes you think. Well,
okay, I can't wait for this art.
Well,
this next
Disclosure Day is on everybody's lips, but so is the World Cup. You're enjoying the World Cup immensely.
No, I'm not. We're talking about Avilo. Please, let's talk about Avilo. Jim, please.
I keep getting the wrong story.
You don't want to talk about this story. You have it highlighted on the
Basically, what's going on here is that they have started a new council, and I will give you my perception of it as soon as I pull it up. I want to give you the right name of it, though. It's the UAP Science Advisory Council, and it's been created by the Trump administration to basically help in getting answers for UAPs. Again, it's the UAP Science Advisory Council. And my question is, why do we need another damned committee?
Okay, that's your question.
Because
my question is, why does Avi Loeb get to run it?
My point is that we have the release of the files. It's obvious the government knows something's going on. It just feels like doing a committee is like, oh, we're doing it because, or a council or whatever you want to call it, is because we have to do something. It's just kicking the can down. Let's talk some more. Let's BS a little more and put out a report that nobody's going to read. It's just more of the same. Some of the members include, and I may not get all of these names right, some of them are a little difficult to pronounce. Professor Carol Cleland for anomaly identification, Dr. Richard Clote, I believe it is, data analysis and AI tools, Dr. Omer Eldadi, data management, AI and human psychology, Dr. Tim Gallaudet, I believe that's the former admiral, oceanography, Professor Robert Hansen, statistics and economics, Ross Howard, communication, Dr. Kevin Knuth, physics and instrumentation, Ben Lamb, oceanography and biology, Dr. Devesh Nandal, numerical analysis and astrophysics, Professor Gary Nolan, who, if you followed the subject at all, he has done a lot of very provocative interviews on this, molecular biology and material science. A former guest on the Paranormal Podcast, Dr. Michael Shermer, the skeptic in the study of anomalies, Dr. Peter Scoffish, anthropology, Professor Matthew Zedegas, I believe that is instrumentation and data collection, and Janice Vilhauer, quantitative psychology. Maybe the goal of this committee was to find people with the hardest to pronounce names. I think they did a good job on that. But anyway, the point is that why? Why do we need this?
Because here's the goal, Jim. The goal of the council is to advise the U.S. government on how to resolve, I like this, resolve the nature of UAPs. What do I need you to resolve anything for? What? Excuse me? What? So they're going to report to to a higher level UAP governance board. All I hear is cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That aims to provide guidance. Oh, I don't need your guidance. Just please.
Let me read Avi Loeb's paragraph here. There's a question.
Sick of him.
What work and support will the council bring to the Defense Department and U.S. military? Please speak to the national security angle here and what the council will offer in that capacity. Now get this. The down-to-earth interpretation of UAP is that we're dealing with human-made technology. So they've already baked in their conclusion.
Right. That's right. The down-to-earth interpretation? Wait a minute. You guys are a bunch of scientists. You're not down-to-earth. So what's down-to-earth about that?
Yeah. Why does it have to be
down-to-earth? You're nothing. You have like 5 million degrees.
Find the explanation. Don't worry about, is this down-to-earth? It's a prejudgment. It's a prejudgment.
It is.
Now, it's
he talks
weird,
about
though.
The Chinese spy balloon already.
Yeah, right. Now, but like Nolan and Gallaudet, and those are people who have been coming out. So maybe that's just Loeb's interpretation. But the point being, that just seems like this is just more of the same talk, not do. Again, yeah. Here's my thesis. What they did, I've got the little popcorn thing. Hold on. Disclosure Day. I've got the little popcorn thing right here, right?
Yep. It was awesome.
The day that was the peak of all this it's the date right here, June 12th, 2026. I'm telling you, in 3 months, nobody except for us will remember. It's all going to be swept under the rug. It's Project Blue Book like 2.0 or 3.0 because what was AARO supposed to do? Wasn't AARO supposed to do a lot of this stuff? What happened with that?
You tell me.
Just more the same. It's more.
First of all, Avi Loeb doesn't believe in that anyway. And he made that clear in many other essays that I read from him when he was talking about 3i Atlas. He made it very clear he doesn't really believe in UAPs. So why do I want to hear anything from you? You know, all it is a bunch of money and a bunch of distractions. And then they're just going to come out and say the same thing. We all know that. That's all it is. That's all. Go away. I'm sorry. You're not really interested. You're really not. You have a bias. All of you people on there, Dr. Michael Shermer, like, really? And they're like, oh, at least we have one skeptic on the board. I think you're skeptic, dude. I'm sorry. I don't think you believe in it either. So excuse me, you're all coming in. That would be like to put me on the board because I have my biases and at least I admit them. I'm very transparent about it. There is something out there. You people don't want to come clean and tell us what it really is. And there you go. So there's my bias. Put me on the board. Because you guys have the opposite viewpoint. You're trying to disclose. You're trying not to disclose. You're trying to hide. We got to change everybody's narrative. They put out. Oh no, we released the files. We got to make sure nobody believes in this. Here, let's put out some gobbledygook, and then they won't even pay attention to it. We'll be okay. Go away.
Just more obfuscation. I'm
sorry, I'm ranting. I hate this kind of stuff.
And
this is more
like,
of our money. How about lower gas prices? How about do a lot of other stuff with the money? We don't need another board that's going to just lie
maybe people
anyway.
like Nolan and Gallaudet got involved because they wanted to have it go in another direction, but it's not going to. It's going to be all more cover. I believe it's going to be more cover up, more obfuscation, more of the same. More of the same. But the important question of all this, and we've never discussed this on the show, what do aliens eat? I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
I know. I'm so sorry, everybody. They wouldn't eat the Reese's Pieces if you watched E.T. Yeah, there's a new article out also from Daily Mail, but there's Professor Jose Miguel Soriano del Castillo. He's a nutritionist from the University of Valencia, and he feels like our planet would be like a very risky buffet for alien life. He doesn't think there's any guarantee that the foods that are safe for humans to eat would be compatible with like aliens' digestive systems. And they would probably want to snack on more raw materials, water, nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, salts, lipids. So no Reese's Pieces. Yeah, and it goes on to talk, it gets kind of a little scientific, but it's talking about, like, generally in life, you need three things. You need a source of energy, you need liquid in which chemical reactions can occur, and you need suitable chemical elements. And he feels that, we have all those here on Earth. So really, an alien shouldn't go hungry. But, and he feels like maybe they can just kind of bring up some organic matter from Earth and process it into something that will help be processed in their digestive systems. But he still doesn't think a lot of our stuff would be edible for them. So he's got other thoughts about maybe they're not coming to us the way we would think they are coming to us. Like, kind of, like maybe they wouldn't need any food at all because maybe it wouldn't be in the form of a biological visitor, but more of like a robotic probe. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. It's an interesting article if you want to pull it up about what they'd eat.
What it reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of the old Twilight Zone, To Serve Man.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, spoiler, but it's 60 years old, so I think it's okay.
Go watch it.
Don't go. It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
There you have it. Yep.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Because they thought, to serve man, that we were going to help man and all of this. And they were literally going to serve man.
Yummy. Cannibalism. Widow's Bay.
I was just going to say.
Thank you.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended. Yes. Widow's
Cynthia,
Bay. 10 out of 10.
Alan even talked about it. See, I told you guys, you're not on virtualcampfire.com. You are missing out. Virtualcampfiregroup.com. You're missing out. We talk about great things, but that show, oh my God, we talked about that in our Spooky Studio Net. Cynthia brought it up among some other shows I'm going to watch, and we started watching it, and it's fantastic. So thank you for the recommendation.
It's basically like if Twin Peaks met Parks and Rec.
There you go. And I am scared of some of it, very much so.
Yeah.
Although the one part scared you more than it scared me. And I thought that was funny.
Yikes.
Yeah, you were really like, ah. We did scream a couple times. All of us.
And Matthew
funny.
Reese,
oh my God, is he tremendous.
No, he's great.
Tremendous.
He's very good at playing scared and put upon.
Yep.
All those things.
Highly recommend Apple TV. Excellent show.
So,
But now you could talk about soccer, Jim.
Yes. Oh, I can't wait. But I got to tell you, Dar, you're loving the World Cup, and I enjoy a little bit of what I've watched.
In fact, I'm missing really good matches like right now, but it'll be okay. I think England is playing right now as we record this.
Which kind of fits into this story because apparently, and I don't know the full details on this, but there had been a curse put on the striker for the English team.
Oh,
and
God.
Let's see, what is his name here? Harry Kane. Harry Kane.
Apparently, he's like top guy on the
I guess
England
there
team.
was a Ghanaian who put I guess they're calling it a voodoo curse of some type on Kane. But Uri Geller, that famous mystic who has actually been on the Paranormal Podcast as well. See the people you miss when you don't listen or watch the Paranormal Podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Check it out for free on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, the Paranormal Podcast. Been doing it for almost 21 years. But anyway, Uri Geller, who had been our guest, he said he has protected the English captain of their football team, Harry Kane. And he said that he has expressed absolute confidence in his personal capabilities to shield Kane, or at least goal.com says. Apparently, Uri Geller talked to the Daily Star and said, "I will cancel it," referring to the spell. "I can do that." He said, "Before the match, I will send vibration. I will activate all my powers, all my energy, all my know-how to stop this negative vibrations from hitting Harry Kane." So, and Ghana had an impressive opening victory over Croatia. So I guess today might tell the tale if Uri Geller has been able to ward off the bad vibes.
You guys will know already because this will have happened already when you're hearing this. And as we're recording, I just turned it on really quick. It's 0-0 after halftime, actually. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Well, the thing is, isn't a striker supposed to be,
well,
I was going to say, isn't the striker supposed to be like the guy who scores the goals? So maybe this curse worked. Who knows?
I'm wondering. And I'm also looking for him right now as we're speaking on the field, and I'm not seeing Kane. So, Oh, there he is. He's there.
I was going to say, does he look well? Is he limping?
No. He's such a good player.
We don't want to see anybody get injured.
I'm really enjoying World Cup. I really, really am.
They're tremendous athletes. They're tremendous athletes.
Nobody else in the house cares. Cassandra watches and she looks for Grimace on the sidelines to pop up on the ads for McDonald's. That's what she's doing.
Her boyfriend is a huge soccer fan, a soccer player.
Yep, huge. So every now and then I'll text her man friend. I'll text him just because there's nobody for me to talk to about this. So
I will occasionally dip in and watch a little sequence.
Barely. You're not into it. I'm into it. I love it.
Indeed.
So, yes. So, all right. Well, I included this next article. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but there's a reason why I included this article. So it's from AZ Central. The Arizona GOP primaries veers into a paranormal clash in the Northeast Valley. So there's a Republican primary that was happening, and they are really hitting one of the candidates very hard about believing in the paranormal and basically making it like he's a kook. So John Kavanaugh has been in the Arizona State House for 19 years. Robert Wallace is trying to end the Senate Majority Leader Kavanaugh's tenure. He wants it over. But they're going into it and they're not being very nice to each other at all. And really what Kavanaugh's doing, I think, is truly disgusting. He's made a slew of videos and social media posts about Wallace's belief in the paranormal. To say he's unfit for public office. Can you? Okay. You know what? I don't look. I didn't go into this guy, so I don't really know. Maybe he's a kook. Maybe he's a weirdo. I don't know what his beliefs are. What the deal is. But really, this is how you're going to hit somebody because they believe in the paranormal. Well, what do you
Yeah.
believe in?
I actually thought about
I have
that.
a problem with this. He created a website called weirdwallace.com. So do you see how they just go after you if you believe in anything? And paranormal, what does that mean? It just means like extra normal, right? Almost like different, unusual. You don't believe in the unusual? You've never had anything happen to you, Mr. Kavanaugh. You're full of you know what. I'm telling
Right.
you are.
And
Everyone's had something.
Here's the thing. I worried about this earlier in my pursuit of all this. Before I knew this was going to be my full-time
Yes,
career
you did.
and those things, I thought, what if I ever want to run for city council? Or what if I want to progress in my career and become higher level management? I was kind of like,
You probably couldn't.
they called me manager, but it was only a name. But the point is
Today,
that,
you couldn't, Jim.
yeah, I would have been, ostracized.
You got released from jury duty because they
I was
found out
going
you
to
were
say that. Yeah. I think I've told this story. I'll make it real quick. Well, I'd served on jury duty a couple of years before when I worked for the classical music radio station, and they were glad to take me right away. Please be seated. And then the next time I was doing this full time, it was early in doing this full time. And I knew that the bias was there, so I kind of leaned into it a little bit. And so when they asked me what I did for a living, I didn't merely say, oh, I own a media company and I'm a podcaster. I said, well, I'm a podcaster and I podcast on things like Bigfoot and UFOs and strange anomalies. Oh, you're excused. Thank you for coming in today.
There you go. Well, that's what's happening here with weirdwallace.com. He's saying he's too weird to hold office. He's talked about that Wallace graduated with a bachelor's and a master's degree in metaphysical science from the University of Metaphysics. So they're saying he has no touch with reality, that he's just looking for, higher consciousness and hypnosis. That's too weird. They put clips from Wallace's radio show called Spiritual Realities because he explained how people can communicate with the dead. And
the
they're
truth
making
is,
him look like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist.
a huge percentage of the constituency is watching Ancient Aliens and Ghost Adventures and, all these different shows while at the same time making
They're so popular. Who's watching him then?
Right.
Yeah, you're a goof. Yeah. They just really totally went after him. Like I said, I don't really know his politics. I don't know whatever. I just think that's hitting below the belt. If you want to go after this guy because, he said he did this to a group, or I don't know, he wants to raise taxes. I don't know, something that's going to really affect this constituency, go after him. Because he believes in the paranormal, because he holds degrees in metaphysics, because he believes in higher consciousness, because he meditates, get over yourself. How about we attack you for some stupid thing that you believe in? I don't know. I hate politics. I really, really do. And it's gotten sick. So there you go. Moving on.
Speaking of politics, there's a big theory out there that's been out for years. We've actually done a show on it on the Paranormal Podcast. Do you see a theme, folks? About the idea that President Nixon showed aliens to none other than famous comedian and honeymooner star Jackie Gleason. Now, this was a great article that you found, Dar, about Jackie Gleason. Now, if you're too young to remember, he was still around, but he certainly, his heyday even predated us.
Oh,
but
yeah.
in the 50s,
I just knew because my parents would
the
talk
honeymooners
about him.
in the 1950s and 1960s, up through maybe the early 70s, he was on television, extremely popular at the time, probably the top television star at given points in history. Later, he was in the Smokey and the Bandit movies and so forth. But not only was he a very popular comedian, he was obsessed with the paranormal. So much so that he had a house that was shaped like a UFO. That was
a story we did ages ago on here.
Yeah, and we even put a link and there were pictures and it looked just like a UFO.
Oh, everything. It was a cool looking house. I would have lived there. That would have been awesome.
It was very 60s, very like early 60s, late 50s. He had a lifelong interest in ESP, telekinesis, astral projection, clairvoyance, and flying saucers. Now get this, this is really interesting. He amassed a library of, and I knew this, I'd heard this before, he amassed a library of 3,000 volumes on these topics. Yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And that UFO house, they also called it the Roundhouse, he only lived there a few years, and then he kind of passed it off to his network when he moved to Miami Beach in 1964, and he started doing his shows from Miami Beach. And there's an author of a new book. His name's Andrew Lampert. I'd like to talk to him. He has a new book titled Jackie Gleason, The Library of the Paranormal. So he really was very much into it, and I knew he was very, very much into it. And the thing is that the tie-in is also to Disclosure Day. There's a reference, and this is kind of a mini spoiler. There is a reference to a 50s comedian, and they show a figure that looks very much like Jackie Gleason, but they never mentioned the name. So I wonder
also
if it's
shaking hands with a figure that looks very much like
Richard Nixon. So the question is that, was it legal? Was it just because they didn't think anybody would know who Jackie Gleason is now? I don't know. And they're actually saying, people are saying that the movie Disclosure Day is doing much better with Gen X and older. And then the younger folk are going to Obsession and all these different, they're not interested. Because to them, Steven Spielberg's like, yeah, isn't that old guy that had that E.T. movie in the 80s, which might as well be the 50s.
Right.
And to us, it's like, oh, Steven Spielberg, the genius. But to them, it's like, yeah, that old guy, he used to be like a director, right?
Yeah, they don't care.
Sad.
It is sad.
And that's another reason.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe our generation is like the last chance for disclosure, because I don't know that younger generations care.
They don't care. It goes back to some of the stuff we were talking about in BTS and behind the scenes this week, but that's my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, I did read an article about Disclosure Day and how it didn't live up to the box office thing that they were kind of hoping in the beginning, but I think that's also generational. I think our generation doesn't go to the movies as much anymore because we can't afford that, and we wait for streaming.
Well, we did an informal poll on our Spooky Studio Net for our Plus members, and most people wanted to see it, but they were going to wait for streaming. And I can understand it. The cost of movies is outrageous. Our televisions today, even fairly inexpensive televisions, can have great picture, great experience. You can have your own snacks. You can pause the movie, turn off the lights, pause and go to the bathroom when you want to. Bob's your uncle.
There you go.
So to speak.
Yeah, I mean, why do you need to? You could, like you said, you could pause it, go to the bathroom. You're not going to miss the movie. And although, like Sandy during our Spooky Studio Net brought up a good point, like going to the movies used to be like such a social
experience,
communal experience. Yeah. And that's kind of sad. But I think, young kids still go because mommy, daddy gave them their money because we know they're not working. And they got money to go. So mommy and daddy don't go, and they let the kids go, and they're going to see these other indie movies and stuff. So, and mommy and daddy will wait till it comes on streaming. There you go. I cannot hear you.
Because I pressed that button when I coughed. You got to unpress that button.
There you have it. There you go. I was like, my thing is all messed up. My computer's all messed up.
No.
Okay.
It's all messed up.
It's all messed up.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Well, thank you for joining us today on
we have one more story.
Report.
I'm so sorry, Jim. I would like to finish off the show.
I am out of it, man. The studio is hot. I am out of it. I'm out of it. This is a good story.
So funny. This is a great story from Entertainment Weekly. We can't skip this quickly.
Well, do tell.
9 celebrities who have been haunted by famous ghosts. And we talked about the first one last week. It was Catherine Lanassa and Dennis Hopper. Well, she was married to her.
Yes.
Catherine Lanassa from The Pit, Nurse Dana. So she was she was seeing Dennis Hopper, his ghost, and used to come over her. And we talked about that last week. But they talk about like 8 other ones. Kendrick Lamar and Tupac Shakur. He said, I was like, whoa. So, Tupac came to him in a dream, or like he saw a silhouette of him while he was like half asleep. And Lamar told he told his mom that, like, in an interview, he said Tupac told him, quote, he basically said, keep doing what you're doing and don't let my music die. That bleep scared the bleep out of me. And he didn't say bleep. I'm saying bleep. So the other weird one is Lala Kent. A lot of people won't know who that is. I only knew her because I used to watch Vanderpump Rules. She was on there. She apparently doesn't just think that Tupac Shakur came to her. He kind of took over her body, she had said. When he died, he took over her body. She said, I know you're laughing, but I'm being real. She went and got a tattoo to commemorate that. I guess it says Thug Life. So that's another one. Helena Bonham Carter, before she did The Crown, she wanted to make sure Princess Margaret was okay with her playing that role. And so she went to a psychic and she wanted approval from Margaret. And Margaret said she was very glad it was her that was going to be playing with her. So that was another one. Megan Mullally and Nicole Brown Simpson.
Whoa.
Yeah, she believes her and her husband Nick Offerman, from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
They lived in a house that was haunted by her ghost, by Nicole Brown Simpson's ghost. She said it wasn't the same house, but it was on the same property where it had once stood a house that O.J. Simpson had rented for Nicole Brown Simpson. And they said in one corner of the house, maybe like the bedroom used to be in the old house, they'd have all these sounds and weird things all the time. And Megan said, that's Nicole, and she's pissed because Nick doesn't get it.
That's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. Ana de Armas and Marilyn Monroe. So she had a kind of run-in with Monroe's ghost when she didn't like something that was being filmed. So things would throw off the wall and she'd kind of get mad. And she said everybody on set felt it because they were doing the biopic Blonde in 2022, which was of Marilyn. So she said it was some weird stuff while filming. Dan Aykroyd and Mama Cass. So Dan, he lived on the former estate of the Mamas and Papas singer Mama Cass. And he said he never saw her ghost, but other people had a bunch of encounters while they were there. They'd see big dark shapes along the top of the stairway. The housekeeper said she heard the Stairmaster going on when nobody was there. Her name would be called. She felt touches on the shoulder. He said his wife Donna had some jewelry sitting there and the bracelet started to do this little whirlwind. So they think maybe it was Mama Cass. Also Cher and Sonny Bono. And I think you may have heard this because I think this one was popular. They asked her in 2013 if she was afraid of ghosts. She said, I love ghosts. I actually think that Sonny makes a light go on. I have a beautiful chandelier that he makes the light go on when it's impossible. There's no power on. I love ghosts. I prefer ghosts to some people. So, and the last one they talk about is Ryan Murphy and the Chateau Marmont. Because it's a Hollywood institution. It's been like over 100 years old and it's believed to be haunted. But yeah, he just feels like there's a couple rooms there that were he thinks it's like the ghost of Hollywood. So there you go. It was kind of interesting. Good article.
That is a good article. That is, but that's the thing. I think that goes back to your GOP fight thing that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. This idea that this one politician is tarnishing this other politician because he believes in the paranormal and supernatural. I am not with it today. I'm telling you, I'm hot and not able to speak. Or obviously look at a spreadsheet. But anyway, the point being that there's so many people that believe in this stuff. I would venture a guess that more people believe in this than don't. So when you're ostracizing a candidate for their belief, in essence, you're ostracizing the majority of your constituency.
Well, I also believe there's a lot of people that believe, but don't want to be judged, so they don't say anything. So they keep
that
quiet.
Guy who did put up that website, he's probably watching Ancient Aliens and listening to my podcast when nobody's listening.
Yeah.
He's like, I was watching Meet the Press.
I believe of course, a lot of people, they're not going to admit to it. They're afraid of being judged. And that is true. We saw that today with that article. You will be judged. You will be brought down if you even remotely say that you believe in some of this stuff. You know what? You don't have to, I don't know. You can believe. And, I think somebody even said it doesn't mean you're crazy. And it really doesn't mean you're crazy. That you believe in some things. What? Because you believe that there are unusual things that happen in this world.
That we don't
makes you
understand.
crazy?
Yeah.
That we don't understand because we maybe don't have the brain power, the technology, the experience yet to have dealt with this. We may not believe, we may not know what it is, but that doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I'm sorry.
Well, it's like what was that old Apple commercial, the crazy ones, and then they showed people like Albert Einstein and things. I think,
that's right.
And we're seeing with UAPs now because, years ago I said, these people with their UFOs and their UAPs are crazy, and now we're finding out, no, we actually weren't. We weren't.
No.
And you're still trying to put the genie back in the
20-some pages of documents from the government that says we aren't crazy.
We weren't crazy. So it is what it is. But you know what? It's not going to stop us from dancing, Dar. It's not going to stop us from dancing because we're positive. The truth will out. We thank you for being a part of the Paranormal Report today. I don't think I've skipped anything now. Anything else you would like to say?
No, we appreciate you listening. Share the show with friends, people, that might find this interesting. Let's get the word out.
Yeah, share a link. I mean, we kind of not grown and we want to grow. In fact, I think, with the shift to the new YouTube channel, I think it hurt us a little bit.
Greatly.
But what can you do? I mean, that's what they tell you to do, and then you do it, and it goes,
Yeah, I think because everybody just maybe wanted to find all of your content on one
That's
place.
what I thought, but then there's the YouTube algorithm, and it kills us. So, I don't know
what they can do.
There's no good answer. There's no good answer.
No.
The answer is you spread the word about the show. That is the answer. If you do that, the algorithm doesn't matter. But we need you to spread the word. So send a link to this episode to a friend and say, Jim is usually better than this. Anyway, but I'm still a great dancer.
Entertaining.
I'm still a great dancer.
You are.
Everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Stay
Happy birthday,
spooky.
Jim, this weekend.